My name is Tranchitella. I'm a naturopathic physician, and I work at Still Point Center here in Temecula, California. I was always interested in health and nutrition, and I really like nutrition, but I liked it from a broader perspective, like food as medicine sort of thing. And it took me a while to find naturopathic medicine, but when I did, I realized it was the profession for me, because not only did it include nutrition and lifestyle counseling, but all the subspecialties of botanical medicine and homeopathy and acupuncture and everything beyond that. So that's why I chose it. Well, I take a history. First of all, they'll come in, we have them fill out a questionnaire, what they're coming in for. They usually have something very specific in mind that is bothering them. But in addition to getting a history about that, I always ask them about their diet, their lifestyle, their sleep, their energy, very general questions that give me an indication of their health in general. Always ask them about diet, tell them to give me an example of what they eat on a daily basis, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And sometimes I'll have people keep a diet diary, because oftentimes you'll find people will tell you what they want to be eating or what they think they should be eating rather than what they're really eating. So you really find out the truth by having them keep a diet diary. Because that's the cornerstone of good health. It's the thing that you're doing to yourself every day, daily, what you're eating. You're eating several times a day, the quality of the food that you're eating, your lifestyle, how much exercise you get, do you get good sleep? All of those things contribute to your overall health, and unless you have those things in place and working well for you, getting well from anything is going to be more of a challenge than it should be. So I always start there with diet and nutrition. You have to. I mean, I have a lot of women who come in for hormonal complaints. They want, usually their goal in mind is they want some bioidentical hormones because they're perimenopausal or menopausal. So they're symptomatic in that way. But I have to approach this on a more global perspective and address their whole health and not just put them on hormones to alleviate their symptoms, because that's still very allopathic in its approach. You still have to address the health of the person. I look at their diet, their blood sugar control, thyroid health, adrenal health, everything in relation to their endocrine system, instead of just immediately putting them on hormones. I have to work on this in a more broader way so that their overall health improves as well. Depending on what they're dealing with, I see all kinds of people, but I always start with diet, lifestyle, and those kind of things, and try and get that in order. And I do a lot of detoxification with people. Put them on a detox program where we work on bowel detox, liver detox, and kidney detox. And it's usually a 30-day program. I tell people that the time frame is not set in stone, that you cannot go forward and detoxify your liver and your kidney until your bowels are working well. And so, I mean, for women especially, constipation is a huge issue, and they're not going to be well if they're not moving their bowels and they're not detoxifying properly. And you'll find what it does is it separates out the issues they have that are related to diet and lifestyle and proper elimination, and the other issues that we need to address more specifically. And a lot of times their complaints resolve as a result of just doing a detox and altering lifestyle and dietary stuff. So changes can be made. When you talk about holistic medicine, it's the mind, body, spirit connection. So that plays a role. And I don't do counseling for people when they have some serious mental, emotional issues, but I will refer them to people to help them with that, because that's contributing to their health, and that needs to be addressed on some level if they really want to get well. And I think case examples are always good. She's probably about 78 or so. She's an elderly woman who is like well beyond retirement age, but she still works. But the thing is, we talk about attitude for life, beautiful, positive, wonderful woman. She had ovarian cancer. And the doctors wanted her to go and do the chemo and everything like that, and she just didn't want to do it, because from her perspective, quality of life is huge. And when you go through therapies like that, it really suppresses your quality of life because they make you so sick. I worked with her on diet and detox, and she was very good and just did everything that I asked. It was so great. What a pleasure. And as far as her supplements, the diet, the juicing and everything like that, she did really great. And I just got a report from her daughter-in-law saying that There's a certain marker in ovarian cancer, it's called CA-125, was like probably down to like a 3, whereas before it was up to a 26 or something like that. So that was just, she had the surgery, she removed the cancer, but she did not opt to do the follow-up therapies. And she worked with diet and lifestyle. And so, you know, she's doing great, and she says she feels better than she has in years. Patients now, they want their insurance to be covering some of these things, because why not? They're paying for insurance. So why can't they say what kind of care they want? You know, so I think it's starting to turn. Insurance is covering acupuncture and chiropractic. As far as covering naturopathic medicine, it may or may not. Depends on what you do. I mean, mostly what insurance looks for, like codes for diagnosis and treatment and things like that. So as far as the insurance thing goes, I think people just have to demand that. And there are insurance companies out there who are broadening their coverage to get people to buy their policies. Diet and lifestyle. That's the key right there. You know, diet and lifestyle, and, you know, embracing and enjoying life. You know, life isn't fun if you're stressed out all the time, and if you're constantly in pursuit of the next best thing. You know, it's not just a physical thing about living longer, it's, you know, what goes on mentally and emotionally too, and for a lot of people, their spiritual life as well. It's a whole package. You know, there are people who come in and they want to have like the perfectly healthy body, but mentally and emotionally, they're almost so type A that they'll drive themselves into the ground trying to get there. So, you know, it's balance, really. I mean, if you want to take one word and pin it on that, it's really balance in life.